Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, your number one source for income-oriented investing, how to generate passive income from a diversified portfolio of high-yield funds. It's your favorite video, of course, everyone. It's time to unveil my entire portfolio from A to Z, and this video will cover all the updates done in June of 2023, update 26. In case you're new to the channel, just a quick note of my investing style. I am a long-term buy and hold, well, primarily buy and hold. You'll see that in this month's video that did make some changes. Income focused or income oriented investor. The primary objective of this strategy is really to generate high and consistent passive income forever, every single month, so I could comfortably live off my dividends, right? So most, if not all, my returns do not come from capital appreciation, right? Buying low, selling high. They come from the consistent income that my portfolio generates, which is currently way over 10% yield. So how do I achieve this? Well, as you will see, my portfolio primarily holds funds that invest in blue chip dividend stocks or indexes and use income enhancing strategy, the bread and butter of which, of course, are covered calls, leverage as well, and sometimes both. So they provide fairly consistent income of usually boring stocks you could hold forever, and you simply collect the passive income forever. So what will I show you in this video? What's the breakdown? Well, first I will show you the value of my portfolio using PASSIV, a nice little neat portfolio tracking tool which combines the values of all 6 of my investing accounts together. So I'll show you that just so to prove to you that the numbers in the thumbnail are true, the values are true. And after that, I'll show you my portfolio breakdown of the 6 accounts in Excel, so it's a lot easier to digest. And don't forget that you could download the Excel file, what I'm about to share with you, on my website for free, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. Go to free downloads at the top and it will be the very first download. Just don't do it using Firefox, use any other browser and it will work. So you could download it and follow along in case the screen is too small or you can't really see clearly. You could follow along with me together as I go through the holdings one by one, and I won't be covering many of the frequently asked questions I get. This monthly series is really about tracking the holdings and the changes I do from month to month, but I have a video called My Portfolio Explained. So make sure to check out that video. That will answer most of the frequently asked questions I get for newer members or newer viewers. So let's get started. All right, before we get started, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video. It's Middlefield, one of my favorite Canadian fund managers. And of course, they are who I trust with real estate. You guys already know, and as you will see in my portfolio, that the way I get real estate exposure in my portfolio is through the Real Estate Split Corp, which is a split share fund that has some of the top REITs in Canada with some leverage as well. So this is an awesome fund if you're in the market for real estate. And of course, there are real estate ETFs out there like XRE and VRE, but Real Estate Split Corp always beats them in terms of total return. And here's the proof. Here's RS versus XRE. RS is in white, and as you can see, it's doing much, much better. It's always going to beat XRE. In my opinion, of course, even though it has a higher management fee, but you are leveraging the expertise of Middlefield, whose core competency is real estate. Make sure to check out their website. Go to the Real Estate Split Corporation. And if you scroll down, by the way, not only could you read all about this fund, but they have a lot of cool resources for real estate in general. Especially this one, I strongly suggest Real Estate Primer. They're always on BNN. They have their own YouTube channel now where they interview REIT presidents. You see here, they talk to the CEO of RioCan. There's articles, benefits of REIT investing. I think Rob Lozon, was recently on BNN right here to talk about, here he is, the best REIT pick. So there's also Split Share Primer, which explains a split share fund. So make sure to check it out. This is how I get my real estate exposure. All right, moving on to the portfolio now. Here is the combined value in Canadian dollars of all 6 investing accounts. Of course, I'm not going to go through the breakdown here, but you guys, as most of you already know, I kind of have 2 separate entities. Like you could see on the left-hand side, my main portfolio, which makes up our 2 TFSA and our joint cash account or non-registered account. This is what we live off of basically. And then we have our retirement accounts completely separate, which makes up my RSP, my wife's RSP, and my small lira. So total, translated to Canadian dollars, because everything in the retirement accounts is in USD, translates to approximately 1.17 million. So that's where we're at right now. Just the main portfolio, the total value is just under 710,000. Remember that, 709, remember that number, because that's the number I'm going to be using in my Excel file. So in case you didn't know or don't use Passive yet, make sure to check it out. Make sure to download it. There's a free version. There's an elite version where you could get, by the way, 50% off if you use my referral code. It's in the video description below. This is a great, neat little tool, especially if you have multiple accounts with multiple brokers, where you could basically get a bird's eye view, combine all your accounts, build model portfolios. And by the way, I discuss all of that, how to use Passive, how to get that 50% off, all the upcoming brokers that they're integrating. BMO's coming, Royal Bank of Canada was just added, TD is coming, a bunch of US ones as well. So make sure to check out this video, Passive. Is it worth it? Because it's really cool autopilot software or managing software for your portfolio. So that is basically a bird's eye view. Now let's break it down in Excel, so you could quickly see, or you could clearly see all my holdings for my 6 accounts, and we'll go through all the moves and all the changes I've made, because there are a lot of changes and a lot of streamlining that I did this month. And again, just a reminder, what I'm about to show you, you could download the Excel on my website, free tools. It will be the very first download. So let's check out the portfolio in detail right now. All right, everyone, let's cover the retirement accounts first. We got a lot to talk about. Let's talk about my wife's RSP, which is the more conservative account. Mine is my super fun account, where I go kind of a little bit nuts, but my wife's RSP is a little bit more basic, and did make a small change. I basically sold off just a little bit of HYLD.U, about 20%, and which was equivalent to about $25,000. So let's go in the RSP tracker, so you could see that in orange. So I just trimmed HYLD.U a little bit, 25K to buy 25K worth of SVOL. I did this just because I love SVOL. It's nothing wrong with HYLD.U at all. HYLD.U is always going to be the main core position, but I figure I just want a bit of SVOL, and I thought it was a good time because I'm on HYLD.U. I was actually up on it. So made a little capital gain of, I don't know how much, probably not much, maybe a couple $100. But I don't really care about that. But this swap basically increased my yield overall, because SVOL was giving about 17% yield. HYLD.U is about just under 12. So I think I increased my passive income on this account by about $100 or something like that. So that's basically the only change I made on Erica's RSP. HYLD.U will continue being the core position. That's why it's highlighted in gold there. But then I have 3 secondary positions. So now SVOL is my alternative secondary position. RA is my real asset secondary position. And RIV is my kind of like my closed-end fund or fixed income, leveraged fixed income secondary position. So that's all I did for Erica's RSP. For my RSP, I did sell off USOI. So I sold off all my USOI. So I had invested in 15,000 in USOI. I sold it all for the proceeds of $12,200. So technically I lost $2,800 of capital. But if you calculate all the income USOI has paid me lifetime, I actually, and by the way, I used Passive to check this out. So here is my Passive reporting tab. My RSP is selected. You scroll all the way down, you can see all the dividends you got since the beginning. Well, since I opened the Passive account or switched to Questrade. So for USOI, I got 5,000, just under $6,000 Canadian. This is converted to Canadian in income. But then I realized, okay, well, this is only since April 2022 when I switched to Questrade, and that's what the data Passive has. But USOI, I had it for a lot longer than that. So I had to go back, and basically it's another $2,000 Canadian. So USOI has given me basically approximately over the lifetime, 6 plus 2, $8,000 of income. So that it more than makes up for the 2,000 whatever 2,800 USD capital loss. So this is just another lesson that income investing, time is your friend. Even though your stock, your cost is your wow, the stock chart is going down maybe, and you're losing capital, the income more than makes up for it over time. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry about that. Didn't get much sleep, I guess. So that's it for USOI. And the real reason I sold it is because why did I get USOI in the first place? It's just oil with covered calls in a not very efficient ETN structure. Well, it's because of all the new, the yield max ETFs and these ETFs that are coming out, which are more efficient. There's less fees and you could probably get more high yields. And not only that, it's much more interesting assets than oil, right? Oil futures. So what did I do with the proceeds? Well, I got more clip. I got 5,000 in Nvidia. So I did get the Nvidia yield max, but a little bit more in the Tesla one as well, and in HYGW, a little bit of sprinkling there. So my income has increased, my yield has increased by doing this. I'm over 22% yield now, which is absolutely crazy. Of course, remember, this could fluctuate a lot based on the distributions that the yield max and the clip gives, which could be very, very different every month. But you could see the yields here. And these distributions, by the way, this dividend rate is going to be based on the last distribution. So it's going to change heavily month to month. So that's it for my RRSP. My Lira also, I did swap out BTCY, which was my Bitcoin covered call ETF, Canadian one, to Maxi. And the main reason is Maxi is a simplified Bitcoin income ETF, the same guys who do SVOL, by the way. And just to make everything in USD, that was the last thing I had that was Canadian and gave Canadian income. So now everything is in USD. All my income comes from US sources, basically. It's all in USD. And so far, so good. I mean, Bitcoin's been picking up lately. And I do like Maxi because it captures more of that Bitcoin exposure, because they're not doing covered calls on Bitcoin. They have a separate income strategy. So you're participating fully in what Bitcoin does. So I thought it was interesting. Let me get Maxi in here and let me keep BTCY in my main portfolio. Just have a little bit of a differentiator. So we'll see how that goes. And as you could see, the value is going up slowly. I'm still at minus 30%. I'm down hard in this one because I invested 33,000 in the Lira when Bitcoin was high, but it is going back up. But either way, it's just going to compound away. It's just going to drip away like everything else here, by the way. And the US market has been doing really well. You could see my return percentages are in the 40s now. This is, all I calculate, by the way, because everything is staying in this account, is just being reinvested either manually or via the drip, is how much money that I actually invest and what is the value. That will determine, right, your return. So you could see I'm doing fairly well. So let's just say I sell everything tomorrow, my total return would be 47%. But of course, it's only going to get higher and higher because it's just going to be compounding away. So it's going to be fun to see what it's going to look like in a few years from now. So that is the overview of the retirement accounts. Let me know if you have any questions. And by the way, I do have a Maxi ETF review or Bitcoin review video coming up. So right now I'm translated to or converted to Canadian based on this currency exchange, just under $7,000 Canadian a month, which is just being compounded, reinvested either manually or via the drip. Now let's check out the main portfolio. All right, everyone, let's go through the main portfolio because there's a major change this month. I sold off my DFN position, DFN 15. So if you look at the portfolio tracker, you see that here I sold off my $25,000 investment in DFN. I took a $2,230 capital loss. And what did I buy instead? More FTN, a little bit of DGS, and ENCC and call. Now, I'm not going to go through the reasoning and all that because I actually have a video which explains it in detail. You have the video right here. I sold DFN. It was just released very recently. So I strongly suggest you check out that video. I actually go in detail why I personally sold off my DFN. It just made sense to me personally. It's nothing against DFN 15. I think it's actually the biggest and most popular closed-end fund in Canada. It has 15 great stocks, but I made the personal decision to do it to streamline my portfolio, and I think it made a lot of sense for me. Even though I took a 2,200 plus capital loss, I made like $14,000 in income with DFN over the years. So don't feel obliged to sell it just because I did. Check out that video where I explain why. So let's go through the main portfolio now, one by one here. Let's go through the holdings, see if there's anything really that stands out to me, or anything that's changed. So HYLD, HDIV, HDIF continue to be my core all-in-one covered call ETFs, very strong primary positions here. Added a little bit to HYLD. Let me just see here, a little bit to HYLD, yeah, but not much. The main core position that I increased was actually HDIV this month. So I did put 5K in HDIV because the overall Canadian market is suffering now, whereas the US market is doing well. Plus, I have a little inkling that HDIV will probably add UMAX in there, and they'll probably increase the dividend. So that's why I put it in HDIV, this month. I haven't added to HDIV in a really long time. So that's basically it. But, HYLD, HDIV continue to be primary core positions like they are in gold. I now have 6 primary gold positions. I have HMAX, which is Hamilton's high yield or yield maximizer Canadian financials. 40K in here, so sizable secondary position, really nice yield. It's starting to go back up again with the Canadian financials, of course, but you could pick it up in the $14 range. I unfortunately had bought it more before, sorry about that. So my book price is $15.61, but I'm not bothered, making a nice yield off of that. ENCC kept adding a little bit, even in call. I think these are 2 of the most undervalued sectors, especially US banks. So ENCC is my personal favorite energy covered call ETF, and call is my favorite US banks covered call ETF, but there's other ones, they have other competitors. So I have, these are very sector specific, which means a little bit higher risk, but I do have, small 1.5% weight to this, $12,000 each, 1,200 shares each. Check out these beautiful yields, just under 15%. Hopefully they don't cut their dividend. I don't think they need to, because remember, this is very, very top quality companies and mostly covered call income. So I think we'll have these nice yields going forward. Will I add more to them going forward? We'll have to wait and see. YTSL is probably doing the best in my portfolio. I mean, my book price is $14. Now it's like $28, $29. So not only did I double my money, of course that's on paper, it's unrealized, but I'm making a 26% yield. I'm getting $110 a month just by holding this thing, and it's appreciating. Of course, it will do whatever Tesla does. So I can't be more happier than that. Of course, I only wish I had bought more. Bitcoin, my Bitcoin and Ether ETFs, I still haven't added more to these, although they're, I have a rule where I can't put more than 10% in crypto. Right now, I'm just about 9%. So of course, I do want to average these down. And because they are the biggest losers, not only capital-wise in my portfolio, but also yield-wise. But we'll have to wait and see. So EIT still the king, a little bit under pressure now because it's very heavy on the financials and the energy, but not miss the dividend. My book price is $10.65. That's why I haven't added much to it in a really, really long time. I always like to average down, of course, not average up. FTN, I added 10K in it, so I do have 35,000 in here instead of 25,000. I lowered my book price tremendously. It was like at 1280 or something. Now it's at 1133, so my yield is a very respectable 13.31%. FTN has been put under pressure because it's all financials. It's got US banks, so it's my last Quadravest product, by the way. And in case you're wondering, this is also on the chopping block for later, in case it does recover. So if it should be clear to you of what I'm doing. I'm kind of streamlining opportunistically out of split funds if I feel that I can, or have a good equivalent or something good to streamline into. So FTN actually has most of the stocks DFN has. So it was a no-brainer. Plus I was, I could have averaged down on it. So I see myself maybe down the line, whenever I feel like it, whenever I feel it's a good price, selling FTN as well, and putting it into ETFs that has equivalent stocks. LBS maybe as well, right? LBS is just the Canadian banks and the 4 life insurance companies. There's a lot of good alternatives for LBS as well, like Bank, like HMAX. So we'll see. Maybe even I'll streamline out of LBS. It's very possible. Very hard to do that with a 17% yield, but I have a capital gain on it. So, with the capital gain, if I swap it into something else, I might have probably the same amount of yield, maybe or monthly income, maybe more, without the risk of missing dividends. Remember, that's the risk with the split share funds. It's not because they have bad stocks. They have very good quality stocks. It's missing dividends. And LBS has not missed, since 2020. But in 2020, for example, they did miss like a 7 or 8 distribution. So you have to make the decision for yourself. Again, see that DFN, why I sold DFN video. DGS, I added a little bit, 5K. So 20 to 25K, average down to 616. It popped last Friday. I think it's going to end up paying maybe in August. We'll see what happens. But look at this tremendous yield. Of course, when it pays, 19.50%. And will I get rid of DGS as well? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I got to have at least one exciting split fund in my portfolio, right? So 3 split funds I can never see getting rid of, however, because they're so unique, are the last 3, GDV, ENS, RS. If I wanted to get rid of GDV, what there's no equivalent. There's no leverage covered call ETF that has global dividend stocks. Same thing for ENS. Yes, you could swap ENS into ENCC because Enbridge is in there, but I really trust Middlefield. And I have already trimmed ENS a little bit. So I only have 25K in there. It's only 3% of the portfolio. It's not a big deal. Strong secondary, good secondary position that I'm making just under 12% yield. I don't see why I would ever get rid of ENS. Might as well leave it. And RS is one of my core positions along with GDV. So I see myself always keeping GDV, ENS, RS. Whereas maybe FTN, LBS, DGS, it's possible I streamline in ETF form just to get rid of that split share form where I know for sure I won't miss dividends. And RS is really what's standing out to me for a buy maybe in July, which you'll see in the portfolio video covering July. So I think it's a great time to buy some REITs. RS is my go-to. It's a sponsor of the video like I talked about. Make sure to check out their website. Definitely my core real estate position. So let's go through the totals now. If we go to, I did update it this time, I remembered. So far in 2023, I've made, with all the buying and selling, this is real capital gains or losses from buying and selling, nothing to do with the income, 62.76. Of course, I took a little bit of a hit by selling DFN, a tiny bit of a hit with BMAX that was covered in last portfolio video, but I did take a massive capital gain when I sold SBC a while ago and a little one with ENS. So I'll by the way, let me know if you guys like this, showing you what I buy and sell and what I bought instead if I make a capital gain or loss. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible here, even though I get criticism to the contrary, which is just ridiculous. But so capital gains, and here's the key, the income so far, passive income or dividend income I made so far is just under 38,000. So total profit, realized profit, not paper profit, realized profit for 2023 is just under 44,000. So here are my totals now. My overall book cost for the entire portfolio, which is basically what I put in, 776. Total value 709, and of course remember where I got that from Passive. Main portfolio, here you have it, 709, just to make sure I am telling the truth here. So I am down, let's say I sold everything, I would make a capital loss of 8.74%, but this is just on paper. I don't really care about this. Remember, what really counts is the income, right? More than makes up for it. More than makes up for it. And check out my yield. I just cracked 11%. I'm making 71.43 a month now. Of course, caveat or just a disclaimer, this is if DGS is paying, and it's not paying for in this month. It hasn't paid in June. It's not going to pay in July, but will it pay in August? We'll see. But technically, this should be zero. So my real yield and monthly income for this month is 67.35, still over 10% yield, however. So I couldn't be happier with this portfolio. It's doing really well. While I keep streamlining, I mean, the only thing I could see myself streamlining out of is these 3 split funds because they're easily replaceable. These ones are not. EIT is not. So yes, I'm starting to prefer, as you could see, more all these great leveraged ETF options we have. And guess what? There's a lot more coming because I'm in the know with the fund manager. So stay tuned. There's a lot more leveraged covered call ETFs coming. Very, very exciting stuff. So total profit realized lifetime throughout the years is just over 360,000. I did crack a nice milestone of $250,000 of income realized income, passive income throughout the years, which is absolutely incredible. Capital gains is 111. Combine that together and you get 361. So current portfolio value plus total profit is over $1 million. That would translate to almost a 38% total return. What does this mean exactly? Well, let's say I sell off all my portfolio, it would be worth about 709 plus all the realized profit and income I made adds up to this number, which if you can compare it to my book cost of 70.76, that's where the big profit comes in. So that is it for the Portfolio Unveiled video. And just a quick reminder to join the PII Inner Circle, because if you were a member, you would have known a while ago that I sold DFN, because live trade alerts is one of the many perks and benefits you get as a PII Inner Circle member. It's only $3 Canadian a month to join, or $1.50 USD. So if you're interested in knowing what this is all about, just click on that little join button next to the subscribe button. It's a 3-minute video where I describe all the perks and benefits. I highly recommend it, and I really appreciate your support, the added support. So that's it. We're going to be doing this all over again next month. This is a lifelong journey thing. Follow my journey. I know this gives a lot of people motivation with their investments and making investment decisions, taking your investments in your own hands. So we'll see you again next month. Stay passive. Take care, everyone. Hey, don't go yet. A few reminders before you leave. Did you know that I launched a YouTube loyalty membership program where for only $3 a month, you could become a PII Inner Circle member, where you will gain access to exclusive content, exclusive videos and live streams, as well as other perks and benefits, including a really cool weekly opportunity report. That's right. If you're interested, just click on the little join button next to the subscribe button to see what it's all about. Also, make sure to follow me on Blossom and download Blossom. It's a social investing app, which is really cool. You could share your portfolio, follow other people's portfolios, including my own. My username is Adrian_PII. So download it with the referral link below. Not only is it free, but you could actually earn cash by taking these really small, quick 1-minute courses. Really awesome. It's a no-brainer. Also, make sure to visit our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you could book a one-on-one private coaching session with yours truly, with myself, where you could ask me all the questions you want. All the information and booking information is on the website. Make sure to check out that video on the homepage there to see how to book a one-on-one properly. Also on my website, you could purchase my digital product, which I'm very proud of, the Ultimate DIY Investing Package. This is a reference tool or a companion tool that will help you build your own portfolio. So it has lists of funds, it has sample portfolios, and it covers both the Canadian and US stock markets. And the good news is you'll only ever have to buy it once, because it comes with free lifetime updates. And my plan is really to update the version every single year. So make sure to pick it up. Also, I have Questrade and PASSIV referral links below. So Questrade is the broker that I personally use, and PASSIV is the broker companion tool or companion or assistant that I use. Really cool program, really cool software. So I have referral links for both of those. Questrade, $50 of free trades. And PASSIV, I have half off for the elite membership. If you're interested in the elite membership, and even if you want to start out with the free membership and upgrade to the elite afterwards, use my referral code so you could still get that 50% off. And don't forget that the elite membership of PASSIV is 100% free if you use Questrade. For social media, we have a very successful and big Facebook group, private Facebook group with over 14,000 members, where we all try to help each other out. So make sure to join that group. Information is below. We also have Instagram, where you could follow us, or more personal stuff when it comes to our life here in Panama. And there's LinkedIn as well. So as usual, everyone, how do I leave you? Continue to stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay passive. See you next time.